Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Fans, today we have a very, very special guest. Been wanting to catch up with Chris Newell ever since the Dodgers signed him a couple of years ago. So Chris, thank you so much for joining.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Got to back up because, man, what a fortunate dude you have been. Newtown, Edgemont Little League fields where you met one of your biggest mentors who also was an assistant coach on your high school team there at Malvern Prep. So you had an amazing Little League, amazing high school there at Malvern Prep. You go to UVA, you make the College World Series. Now you're with the Dodgers. I mean, how lucky can one guy be, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely very blessed and fortunate to, go through a lot of the experiences that I've been through. I thank God for that. I've just been very fortunate. For sure.
E.J. Moyer is that guy that was both your assistant at Malvern Prep and also worked at Newtown, Edgemont Little League. You want to talk about him, the influence he's had?
Yeah, I mean, I've known him since I was probably 10 years old. When I was younger, I pitched a little bit too, and he helped me on the pitching side a little bit, so I started to develop that relationship a little bit. And then when I was 12 years old, he was one of our coaches for our tournament team. So, I'd known him for a while, and then just kind of as our relationship developed a little bit, I knew I kind of wanted to go to Malvern. So he was a big influence on getting me there and helping me get there. And also our head coach, Freddie Hilliard, was a large part of why I wanted to go there as well.
You mentioned you pitched a little bit. Of course, you're left-handed with the big arm you have. Of course, you're going to pitch as a kid. Had Tommy John, though, just kind of one of those random games where they brought you in. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so I think I was about 16.
Yeah.
That was really the last time I pitched. Just one day was pitching summer ball game. They needed somebody to throw, so I decided I was going to throw. Just going through normal outing, and then threw a couple pitches, didn't feel right. Finished the inning, whatever. Didn't feel great. Went home, got some stuff looked at, and saw that it was torn. So ended up getting surgery, but finished playing that summer.
Wow.
With it, played the field. But yeah, ended up getting that after my freshman year of high school, I think. And then just hit that following spring, and then started to build back up throwing and just continued to play the outfield from there.
2019, so you ask guys, hey, which one do you want? You want to be the Gatorade Player of the Year? You want to win a title? They always say title, right? You got to do both. You got to be the Gatorade Player of the Year, and you got to win 3 titles at Malvern Prep. I mean, gosh, talk about your experience there.
Yeah, I think the individual accolades were cool, but I think, winning those 3 state championships in a row is something that I'll definitely never forget. Especially going out my senior year and being able to do that and go out with that team and win our 3rd state championship in a row is pretty special. It's something that I definitely won't forget.
So you went to Virginia, out of Pennsylvania, went to Virginia, and you had Brandon Neek, who's on your team right now, and then also Jake Giloff, who's been hitting bombs lately. I don't know if you've been paying attention or not, but he's been finally healthy, and he's doing what he does. First of all, 2 fun questions. Did you ever have to hit off a Neek in an inter squad? How'd that go? And then were you ever in a batting practice group with Jake Giloff?
Yes, both actually.
Either one of them fun?
Well, facing Brandon's definitely not fun.
Yeah.
That left-on-left matchup, he has gotten me most times than not. But, going back to Jake, at school, hitting together all the time, not even just practice, but like after the games and whatever, and just developing that relationship special as well. And it's just crazy that all 3 of us happen to be here together, and I think that it speaks volumes to, Virginia as a program and, doing what they do and producing baseball players the way they do. Not just baseball players, but good people as well.
You ever have one of those where you hit one or he hits one and then you're going, okay, yeah, well, watch this. Ever have one of those around a BP?
Yeah, for sure. I would say more times than not, he probably beats me there. That's not really my game, BP, but yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. We're very lucky to have each other here, especially, Brandon and I, our first experiences in pro ball together. It was nice having each other to lean on and, kind of go through it together and have somebody like that to go through it's been great.
Drafted 13th round 2022 out of Virginia. So I got to know all about the draft day. How I know, like when you were in kindergarten, you told your kindergarten teacher, I'm going to be a major leaguer one day. That's like been your goal since you could talk, right? So that had to be kind of a full circle moment for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different for everybody. You know, a lot of people think that draft day is going to be like this great special day, but in reality, it's very stressful because there's a lot of uncertainties and you don't know where you're going to go, and especially like how things shook out. You know, me being from the East Coast, being drafted to a West Coast team was definitely a little different, and you know, I was a little nervous about that at first, just being away from my family and stuff, but you know, at school I was still close to my family, but that was really the first time that I was like really away from my family. So that was a little bit hard at first, but I think I ended up in the right place.
Treasure trove of tools. I mean, you're 6'3", you can run. I think you're the all-time stolen base leader in the history of the postseason of Virginia, which is amazing. And I've had guys like Chris Taylor and just incredible players come through that organization. So lots of speed, great size, great arm, lots and tons of power, the ability to also be a great hitter as well. So how do you use all these tools that you've had developed and turn them into results on the field?
You know, the tools are definitely there, but I think, you know, being able to combine them together and just be able to create some consistency is where I need to improve. You know, I have the ability to go out and impact the game on both sides of the ball.
No doubt.
But I think it's more just like understanding who I am as a player and continuing to try and define myself in that way, and you know, keep working to put everything together.
Last question. Appreciate you. I've taken quite a bit of your time here, Chris. I've been wanting to catch up with you for a while. So what things right now, you got the call from AA. You're going to be a major leaguer tomorrow. What things would you say that you would rely on the most? You're doing well enough right now to be a consistent major leaguer. What things would you want to work on the most?
I think kind of my anchor at this point is my defense.
Yeah.
I really take pride in my defense in the outfield. I don't really care where it's going to be. If I'm playing the major leagues, I've played all three positions at this point. But I think continuing to practice that, you know, taking pride in getting reads and defense and just continuing to harp on that will be big. I think where I need to improve is just a little bit more bat to ball and, you know, putting the ball in play a little bit more, give myself a chance to impact the game that way, you know, whether it be hitting the ball over the fence or getting on first, base hit, whatever, stealing a base. I think I still have a lot more to offer than what I've shown so far. But I would say, yeah, that's it.
Chris Newell, it's been an honor and a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.